Yo, what's going on, fam? Thank growth. It's Friday. Thank you guys for being here. Carlin, how you doing today?
Bro, I've got check this out. I'm at my parents' house. I've got streamers.
It's gonna be a fantastic day.
It's gonna be a fantastic day.
You guys missed it. Before we went live, we jumped on here. Carlin clearly did not have the screen pulled up to where she could see me. And so I hopped on here and I said, hey, Carlin, what's going on? And she just, dude, I wish it was recording because I'm not kidding. I know when people tell stories like this, they kind of over exaggerate it so people can feel how they felt. But literally, I'm not over exaggerating this in any way, shape, or form. Carlin, like flew back, like flipped over the bed. The curtains on the window about came tumbling down. It was the funniest thing. She was not anticipating this big booming voice.
I don't do scary things very well. Like, I don't watch scary movies. Like, in case you guys haven't noticed, I'm like rainbows and sunshine. I like colors, not surprises.
Dude, that was a good surprise. I so wish there was some sort of recording of that. I didn't even know that was physically possible with like my understanding of gravity to fly the way that you did. So it's like some Peter Pan stuff right there, man.
You know what? Never ever land.
Angel, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here. Angel is a beautiful soul, and she is up here in Alaska with me. We're both braving the winter wonderland going on outside right now. It is literally a snow globe in Alaska. I have snow blown my driveway probably 5 times in the last 2.5 days. So about twice a day. I'm going to actually have to go out there after this, snow blow it again, and I'll probably do it once more before the end of the day.
I thought we were blow drying our porches now.
Oh, yeah. I forgot we were blow drying our porches. Forgot that was the direction we were going to go with it. We're going out there with a bunch of blow dryers.
It might work.
I think it could. I think that may be. Actually, you know what? My neighbor used to be Army. And I didn't know this, but apparently you can go buy like flamethrowers at Cabela's or like Bass Pro or something like that. Didn't know that. So with the temperature rising and falling, we get snow and then it melts, and then we got ice, and then it melts and more stuff melts, and then it freezes, and then we got more ice. And before you know it, like we end up with all this ice on our driveways, and then it's all covered in snow and stuff anyway. And what he ended up doing was going and buying a freaking blowtorch at Cabela's, and he's over there. It looked like some Call of Duty shit, dude. He's over there just torching up his driveway. But you know what? He had a fantastic looking driveway all winter long.
I can see how that would be. That's probably the approach I would go with, honestly, would be the blowtorch.
The blowtorch. You know what? Only in Alaska could you send, because most people, I would imagine, across the United States who get snow probably send their kids, from door to door. That's what my son started doing, by the way, was he started a snow shoveling business.
Yeah, that's
and
exhausting.
So I thought, man, you know what? Maybe I should just go buy this kid a blowtorch, and he can just go door to door, torching people's driveways, man.
Which one, Miles?
Yeah.
I could see it. I feel like that would be dangerous. Mostly not for Miles. I mean, for the people with the snow.
Could be. It could be for everybody.
Sonny, I just said you don't have to do the road.
Yeah, there's this weird streak of houses catching on fire. They're not electrical. We're really not sure what it is. They started on the outside of it, ironically. Weird. Don't know what's going on down Birchleaf Way in Wasilla, but there is a string of houses catching on fire.
Over yonder.
Yeah, that's a no for me, dog. Dude, you know what's really cool though, Carl? Let me share with a win with you for my week. So like I said, my son started this snow removal business, and he was so excited. He started drawing up his flyers. My wife went and printed them on the print or on the copier. Yo, Timothy, what's going on, buddy? Hey, thank you for being here, man. Happy Friday to you, sir. So my son started this snow removal company. He was so excited. He was getting all these flyers out, and on, when was it? When we had I guess 36 hours ago, it really started coming down really good. So that's kind of when I think he started, was 36 hours ago. No, 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 no. Nope. It was more than that. 72 hours ago, 3 days. Okay. Anyway, 3 days ago, he started doing this thing. And he, I look out the window and I'm seeing him shovel our neighbor's driveway. He's doing a great job. And then his sister goes out and starts helping him. His brother goes out and starts helping him. And one of the neighbor kids goes out and starts helping him.
Yes.
Now, we told Miles, we said, he's my 8-year-old. We said, Miles, I wanted him to charge $5. I think everybody wanted to pay him more. And my wife let all the girls down the road know, all the gals in the group text know that we got a killer street, by the way. We got all of our neighbors are awesome. But she let them know, hey, Miles might be coming. And they're like, that's all you're going to pay him is that's all he's asking is $5. And, this would be good. It'll develop character, it'll develop, it'll also allow him to understand the impact of money. And, I want him to have that experience of what it's like to trade your time for money for $5. I mean, all the gals down the street were like $5. I was like, dude, I was making $5 in high school, bro. Are you kidding me? Nobody was sympathizing with me then. You want to pay an 8-year-old more than $5 for 30 minutes worth of work? But anyway, so it was really cool, Carl. And as I'm sitting here watching him do this, we've been talking more and more about business and books and all that kind of stuff, right? And it's been neat to hear what you're doing with your kids and what you and James are doing with your kids. And with the weather changing everything, another opportunity for another business. We're not doing lemonade stands. Now we're doing snow removal. And as I'm sitting here watching him do all this snow removal, he gets $10 at the end. And so now when he came in with his $10, he's like, Dad, look at all this money I got. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. So now the conversation is, all right, as a business owner, there's a couple things that we need to be cognizant of. And we got to figure out, all right, how does our team get paid now? What did they contribute? What are their roles going to be? And right after that conversation, I went out to plow my driveway a little bit more, and I saw one of the snow shovels that somebody was using was left outside on the side of the road. So I called Miles, and I said, Miles, whose snow removal business is this? And he said, mine. I said, so if somebody's shovel gets taken or broken or whatever, lost, whose fault is it? Who is using it? And he said somebody's name. Could have been one of my other siblings. I don't know. I said, but whose fault is it going to be? Whose snow removal business is this? Is it their fault or is it your fault? And he said, mine. I said, okay, cool, perfect. So we started down this road between trying to figure out how he's going to pay his brother, his sister, and then the neighbor boy. He's got to figure out how to write SOPs now. He's got to figure out how to delegate. He's got to figure out how to, he's got to have a checklist now of what gear and things that they're going to need for his snow removal business when they go out and start a house. All right, do we have shovels? All right, who's in charge of the shovels? Who's making sure that the shovels and everything at the end of the day are getting put away? You know what I mean? So it was really neat to see. That was a huge win for me, Carlin, was being able to take him by the hand and actually start figuring out how to distribute money, how we're going to market, how we're going to grow this thing. How are you going to delegate? What positions are you going to give people? What do those standard operating procedures for those positions look like? What are they going to oversee? So you can continue kind of growing this. So it was really neat to open up a conversation in a way that I hadn't been able to open it up with him before. So for me, that was a win this week. It was really cool.
Dude, that sounds like a victory, not a win.
It was awesome, man. It was great. It was really cool. Just this whole thing that we're doing with entrepreneurship is awesome, and being able to just integrate it into what we're doing as parents and as spouses and as friends and neighbors. It's nothing but abundance, man. Nothing but abundance, love. Everybody's learning. Everybody's making money. It's the coolest thing in the world, and it's the most humbling thing to experience as a parent.
That's an understatement. Watching the kids just do their thing. The girls had this epiphany the other day. They're like, oh, well, now that it's getting cold, we can't really sell lemonade anymore. So what are you going to do? They're like, we'll sell hot chocolate. I was like,
Oh.
okay, cool.
I love that, dude. And your kids made a killing.
Dude, this summer they got into
Dude, your kids are going to be buying their own car next year, man.
That's the goal, because they've got expensive taste, man. They follow in James' footsteps in that one.
I freaking love it, dude. Speaking of entrepreneurs, Jeff McGrew, thank you for being here, brother. It's been neat to get to know Jeff and what he's doing as a parent and as a spouse and in his entrepreneurial endeavors. That's one of the neatest things, is just the community aspect to this whole thing. And we're all learning as parents and business partners. And it's gosh, I will say this till the day I die, man. I say this on a lot of our shows, but I literally get to wake up and feel like I'm going on a school bus, going on a field trip today. Like, that's how excited I am. Like, it's
you know
super
what,
cool.
Jesse? Yeah. On the note of school buses, so he's not here quite yet, but a buddy of mine is someone that I'm bringing onto the show today. Surprise! And it's not just like, a friend. He's actually someone I have known since I was 2 years old. We have grown up together. We have identified ourselves as twins because he looks insanely a lot like me. And I'm just really, really excited because we've had our ups and our downs.
Mm-hmm.
We've rode the school bus together. We've been parked on the side of the road waiting for someone to come pick us up before. Like, we've done it all. And I am just so excited to actually be having him on. Because for the walk of life that we've had, yep, I think he's just got the best story. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have him on here. Is he still in traffic?
Let me check. This is the perfect example of why I would not live in Florida.
I would have assumed when you said traffic, I would have been like, oh, he must be in LA or something like that. Yeah, I'm excited to get him on here. Hopefully.
I just got a message from him, actually. Said,
oh, okay.
Yo, can you send me the link again? So he'll be here uno momento.
We'll see him here momentarily. Well, for everybody else, while we're waiting for Braden, happy Veterans Day to all our veterans out there.
Happy Veterans Day to you, buddy.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
How many years did you put in? Your entire life? Something like that, somewhere around there?
Entire life, I did 14 on active duty and 1 in the reserve for 15. 15, man. And it was fun, dude. It was great. When I think back about my military career, there's a lot of people that are like, oh my gosh, like, Jesse, you could have had a guaranteed retirement at 20 years. Like, all you had to do was another 6 years, 5 years. And, it's interesting to see their perspective on it. But from my perspective, I was like, dude, like, this is awesome. I was excited to leave because that set me up. They gave me like 14 years of like a solid foundation to jump into what we're doing now. And I'm super excited for it. So everybody who is still fighting the good fight, everybody who's still serving, if you guys are watching this or if you end up watching this in the future, we love you and we're thinking about you.
Especially right now.
There he is.
Hey.
Man, the myth.
Sorry I'm late.
You're good, bro. Carla was just telling us about that Los Angeles traffic.
I mean, I'm in Orlando.
Don't, Braden, don't fall for his
405 is crazy.
Well, what's going on, man? How you doing? How's the day going?
I'm great. It's good. Man, everything's popping off over here at the studio. This little nutrition shop that my friend Zach opened. He's outside right now. He might wander in. He started this nutrition shop, and we kind of. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Okay.
Yeah, this is
I swear like a sailor, so I just want to make sure.
You're in the right company.
Yeah, he's a good company.
Good deal. So basically, he started this shop, and we talked about setting up the studio. Him and his mom put up these walls here. This is what we've got going on in here.
Oh, dope. I love that.
And we've been getting some like world famous bodybuilders on the show because it's a nutrition shop, and our host, he competes in like bodybuilding competitions and figure competitions and stuff. And the shop is really geared specifically towards bodybuilding, whereas like when you see like a GNC, it's more just like a health store where you can get similar nutrition, but
Right.
like this
It's like the
place,
Planet
everything
Fitness of
everything
supplement
here
stores.
is like hand picked to like give you good results for bodybuilding specifically, not just working out. Like if you're like really putting in the hours and like need like specific proteins or specific electrolytes or whatever, Zach's got all of that here. It's awesome. And then he let me set up the studio, and we got the attention of Larry Wheels, who I didn't really know about beforehand because I'm not as privy to the bodybuilding world. I'm more of a media guy. And this dude's got like 5 million followers and stuff. And I'm like sitting here with like 5 or 6 hours of footage of this dude doing a meet and greet and doing our podcast last week. That's just like, I don't know how we got here, but it's really humbling.
So
Such is the life of being an entrepreneur, man. Like I feel like there's oftentimes you look back and you're like, wow, this is crazy how this all happened. And Carlin and I talk about this all the time. You have those moments when you look back at your life and you're like, man, like those were the good old days, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like nice to know when you're in those. Like it would have been nice to know when you're going through them that you were in the good old days.
Yeah.
And so that's something that Carlin and I have practiced through our partnership and friendship, is taking note of those little things and being like, man, like this is neat because we can see how we got here and we can see us where we're going. That's really, really cool. But
So Braden and I, like I said, we grew up together. I remember this one day specifically. I won't get too into the nitty gritty of the details, but he and I were sitting on the edge of a cliff. It's by a place in the town we grew up in called Hell's Hole. And we're sitting on the edge.
Are you telling the aliens story?
I wasn't going to explain the aliens. I was just going to explain what we're, but if we can do the aliens. If
we grew up in New Mexico, so if anybody wants to pontificate in that direction, I have. It's an endless rabbit hole, but I'll let Carlin tell her.
Dude, this is the Joe Rogan podcast today, man. Let's go down that rabbit hole.
I wasn't going to explain the aliens, but we were sitting on the edge of this cliff. I can go into the aliens if you want, but we were sitting on the edge of this cliff, and at the time, you can do that part. At the time, I would not have imagined that where we were then is where we would be now. Like the town we grew up in, it felt like a pit hole. It was like, oh man, we're never going to get out of this. Yes, there are monkeys there too. That's not a lie.
There's monkeys in Florida. So when they were filming Tarzan a few years ago, a bunch of monkeys got out and they're all infested with like herpes. And they live in Silver Springs, so you can go see monkeys, but you don't want to touch the monkeys in Florida.
Don't touch the monkeys. Got it. Noted. That's why I don't go to Florida. Right there. All right, Braden, everyone's asking, tell the alien story. Just tell the alien story.
Oh my God. Okay. They want to call me crazy because I am. So basically,
it's a plot twist today, Jesse.
Basically,
no, I love it, dude.
What happened was we were on, like, there's this cul-de-sac next to this canyon where there's like these pieces of like crumbled, the rock is called tough rock, is what disperses and dries from like volcanic eruptions and stuff. That's what Los Alamos is built on.
Okay, so you guys were outside Los Alamos. Like you guys weren't in, what's the other one? What?
White Rock?
Roswell. You guys were like
no.
This
yeah,
was in
no. We were in Los Alamos, nuclear city, government, everywhere. So I don't want to dismiss the idea that whatever I saw could also be like secret government technology. which does exist. We just probably don't.
And this
Yeah.
podcast is.
We
this
won't know
episode's
about
just gonna be
that
done now.
specific technology for probably 50 years. But that being said, we're like sitting in this cul-de-sac. We had hiked out to the edge of the cliff, and then we were walking back, and we see this like light appear on the other side of the canyon. So there's this river, and then there's these two canyons here, and we're on this side, and this light's coming in from like here, and it starts going over us. And the second it gets over us, it feels like there's a subwoofer pretty much shaking like my car, because we had gotten back to the car once we noticed the light. We were like, let's get out of here because that's freaky.
Dude, it
How
was.
fast was this going?
And
Like,
it just
Jimmy,
felt like a
was it like an
like somebody
airplane
had
flying
turned
over
on
type
like
speed, or
No,
No.
it was
no,
moving.
it was
quick.
moving fast
oh, it's
enough.
quick?
It was
Okay.
moving fast enough that after it got over us, and Carlin didn't want me to like look outside, because I was like, I'm gonna look outside. I want to look at it. And the second I looked out, the thing's gone. And we were like, well, it's going in that direction, so let's drive towards Overlook. And we get there, and there's like nothing.
To clarify, Overlook is 2 minutes away from where we are.
What is
Yeah.
Overlook? Is that
It is
An overlook?
literally a look over the canyon.
It's a look over the canyon. I mean, they're both technically overlooks. That's the one that got named it. That's
okay? So then it's just you two. There's nobody else there.
So,
right.
so
And that freaked us out enough. And we're in high school, and we're like, hey, let's go to the church, because that was fucking scary. And we go to our main pastor. He's there at night for some reason. We don't
it
need.
was weird.
Yeah, he's Pastor Chuck. Shout out.
Shout out to Pastor
he
C.
he was like, well, you guys live in northern New Mexico. Somebody comes in like once a week and says something like this, and that could either be government or aliens. There's those are the two options. There's no other options, and I'm gonna choose aliens because
It's cool.
it's cooler, but if you think about like the universe's scale, like the whole thing, and we're one planet, and there's billions upon probably trillions. There's probably not even a number that I could say for how many planets there actually are. We're one pond in like this huge like cesspool of different ponds.
Mhm.
And if a fish in one pond thinks that it lives in the only pond, that's so naive. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's aliens, but also if it's government, then it's probably government and aliens. Because, I mean, if you look at the timeline, you've got Roswell crashes in like what, 1947, 2 years after Hiroshima, and where they crash is none other than the state and like really close to the Trinity site. Like it.
Well, even when you look at
it's
aviation right
it's
after
too
that, dude.
obvious. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Roswell
and then we get like transistors and these like technologies like fiber optics. That's what it is. Fiber optics. I'd love to know where that came from. Like there's so much science behind it, and I don't want to like dispute like the like thousands of human people that definitely put their lives into creating those technologies, but the ideas, like, I don't know if they're from here, if that makes sense.
New Mexico is a very unique place to grow up in.
Yeah, it'll make you crazy, like as crazy as me. Crazy enough to move to Florida.
Voluntarily at that.
Oh, God.
All right. So your alien chasing days are
Let's not
behind
get
you.
into that.
Have you had anything like that happen
Yeah.
since?
With the alien chasing
I
days
have.
behind us, at no point when we were watching the sky looking at aliens did I think that I would be an entrepreneur with a podcast with my best friend and my other best friend / lifelong brother, just chilling here talking. This is how we're making our money today, and it's a great time to hang out and chill with people.
Hold on just a second.
Yeah.
Crazy muscle.
Oh, we get to get it right here. Listen in.
I think you have the wrong number. Thank you, buddy.
Oh, man.
Dang.
Dude, you know what it was? It was the aliens calling him.
It was. It probably
Checking
was.
in on him.
They called and they're like, "Yo, dude, you really can't say that on a podcast." Like,
I can say whatever I want on podcasts. I produce a podcast.
and then Braden goes missing.
Okay, we're gonna hang up. We're gonna part from this, and all I want you to say is, "I think you have the wrong number." You got it?
So needless to say, Braden, aliens aside, you did a lot of movies, dude. Like, you were in extras in a lot of movies growing up, and you always had this interest for film production and, you know, all this stuff that I don't know what you're talking about like 90% of the time.
I mean, a lot of like talking about what film production, like, it's really like gibberish to a lot of people. And like at the end of the day, you'll have like a long day on a movie set and come home and want to complain. And your fiance's there and she's like, "You're doing what everybody wants to do. You're not allowed to complain."
I love Olivia.
And like at the end of the day, like, I've done this for so long, you know, like I was a child actor. I mean, I was just a background actor, but that flourished into me doing like stand-in work and stunt work, actually, which was really cool. I got to work on movies with Jessica Alba. I got the privilege to go to like Breaking Bad rap parties and meet Sam Jackson. And now I've worked with like directors and assistant directors that have worked on like Captain America. I've met Stephen Barris, who is one of the vice presidents of HBO or Max now, or whatever they're calling it. But it's been a grind, you know, and only like 2 days ago, the strikes, the Screen Actors Guild strikes ended. So it's been pretty difficult to like get work in the film industry in the last few months. And a lot of my friends are struggling and stuff. And I lucked out like meeting Zach, but I've known Zach for like 3 years, right? And he worked on this National Geographic documentary called Trafficked. If you've seen that show. Yeah, he does. He's in the episode where they do the bodybuilding competition. He's the one that is injecting the steroids for that. And it's just really cool to be like connected with, like, it sounds random, but like my mom did bodybuilding growing up, aside from also working in the film industry. And then like coming out here and not knowing what to do after I had graduated from a film school, like because of the strikes, it was like, well, let's build something. And so far it's been really fruitful, especially with the strikes having only ended this week. Like last week, I had 6 celebrities come in that I'm still cutting everything together. We had Tony Huge, King Tolo, Larry Wheels. Zach got to go and meet Ronnie Coleman at his gym, and like it's just like crazy to see all this happening like right before my eyes is the result of all of our hard work that we're putting in and everything. Like I don't think I saw this specifically for myself when I was doing background acting, because I wanted to act, you know, and like that's great, but at the end of the day, I'm much better at drawing something than I am at being a drawing, if that makes sense.
That's a really good. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Especially because I know what your artwork looks like. Wow. So you've gone from. Let me just preface. Do you mind if I talk about high school?
Yeah.
Okay, so both of us dropped out of high school. It's safe to say
I've recovered from my trauma.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm pretty satisfied. Maybe. So we both dropped out. Both of us were kind of like alienated after dropping out from the people that were supposed to be our friends, our church family, stuff like that. We grew up around them. We had our ambitions and our goals, and both of us dropped out and got our GED. So when we were sitting in your car talking about all of these crazy life events. At what point did you ever think that your life would go in an entrepreneurial direction? Because you've already said you've developed everything from ground up. There was all sorts of chaos going on when you started developing it. And with the grind and the work that you've put in, you've been able to meet and build relationships with some, from the sounds of it, pretty high up people in specific categories.
That's a good question. I never like really thought about being an entrepreneur. I've never really called myself that either. Because I think a lot of people associate the word entrepreneur with wealth. And when you're like commuting, driving, spending all of your time like doing something you love, that is the wealth. Like the money, like that's cool. But the more you do things that give you good energy, the more good energy you have to like share, if that makes sense. So I kind of just approach everything like that, because like for the longest time I just wanted to do music, and like after I dropped out I didn't really care about like getting my GED. I got most of my GED finished. I think I finished like 75% of it, and then like failed the math and was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna play music. And then like waited a year or so, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna do this so that I can go into the Marine Corps, which I didn't end up doing. And started college, hated college because I was doing business management, and working at like restaurants and stuff because that's what I thought I could do, and do well, because I've always had a passion for like pretty much anything creative: cooking, music, movies, art. Like it's really toxic because I can't just stick to one thing, and I feel like the more I've stuck to one thing, the better I get at it. Because like for like 4 years I was only playing music, and I was like working at a Domino's, working to be able to just write and have instruments and do what I love to do, which at the time, like I would try and get my name out there, but living in Los Alamos, as Carlin knows, is impossible to really.
Yeah,
like,
you're isolated.
Yeah, you're pretty isolated, and once you leave, that's like terms for excommunication. I think it's something in the water there, or something that's not in the water there. But either way, I think I don't know where I was going with that. Sorry, I kind of trailed off with Los Alamos trauma. Shit. I don't know.
You have your one thing, working on doing the one thing to the point that you've basically mastered it.
Yeah, and like right now, like with this podcast and stuff, I'm actually getting the chance to like really sit down and hone in on all of my skills that I got in college, where it's like in college there was no creative control. Like you were doing exactly what they said. You had to do everything PG-13. You were like filling parameters that like you're like, why? Like, let me be creative. I'm at a art school, for Christ's sake. And like the whole the whole catch is just that you get these skills like over the years that you can either use to like as a hobby, or you can use them as like a career. And a lot of the things that people consider hobbies are things that I see as careers, and I think that is what has given me a little bit of that mindset, where it's like my fiance, she's a dance instructor. She loves what she does. And I feel like that kind of helps build on like me being able to do things that I love to do.
So how do you figure out when you're going through that type of, when you're going through that transition of high school, and then you're moving out of Los Alamos, and you're growing into this person that you're meant to become, that you're capable of becoming, and you talked about taking those skills. Like how do you how did you figure out how to take the skills that you had and to not only grow them but start monetizing on them?
That's a good question. That was definitely a school thing. The school I chose, they really know how to, like, I guess, get you to memorize the material that the industry wants you to know. And like being able to monetize it is it's really skill based, right? So like if I'm good at what I do, then I can sell what I'm doing, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got like my website that needs some work, but I've got all my art on there. There's links to a lot of my movies. I haven't posted any of the podcasts there yet because it's not technically like my property. I just produce it for Zach. Um, but I do need to start posting links to that on there because that's a lot of editing work that I'm doing. Because each episode is probably like an hour long, and then I sit there and cut them because we don't do live podcasts like this. We really need to start. I'm kind of digging this StreamYard setup here. I might take a note from this.
Do it.
Does this just stream directly to Facebook? Is that what
Yeah.
it is?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It goes in a bunch of different Facebook groups and YouTube pages, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to be doing this. But yeah, I mean, it really just takes drive, you know, because like anybody's got a camera, everybody's got microphones. Like there's nothing stopping anybody from like literally making a movie these days, like this day and age. You've got everything you need, like at your
Mhm.
fingertips.
Yeah.
You just need to know how to use it. And like the only way to really learn that is to watch what you want to make. And that's all I did growing up was like watch movies or listen to music or look at art because I was distracting myself from astrophysics and nuclear fission and whatever the heck Los Alamos was trying to like, you know, indoctrinate me into. Because they really, man, they're grooming kids to work at that lab.
Are they really?
They
Yeah,
really
yeah.
are.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
If you want to know most PhDs per capita, it's here. And
Really?
most of them come from here. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that's part of the reason I think there's that excommunication is because like a lot of those old friends that you have, they work for the lab now and like they don't want to talk to you. And there's just like that mentality of like they might know something that they're not supposed to talk about, so they don't. And that's just like the norm that's built up there. Like even when I lived there and people moved away, it'd be like they just disappeared.
Yeah.
Like it was wild.
It sounds like your guys' experience is really on a whole new level. I know Carlin and I have talked about this before. I think to an extent that's kind of what the military is like as well. You end up leaving. It sounds like yours is more on an extreme, but yeah, I feel like the military is kind of a similar way, man. When you leave and then everybody else just kind of stays in their same hometown, just kind of doing the same thing. You know, and then you start doing, you know, bigger and better things. You start working on skills and your own self-development, your mindset and the things that you want to do. And
Yeah.
you know, you kind of have to separate yourself from those people at some point when you want to level up your game. There's only so much time in the day, and it's like,
Absolutely,
well,
absolutely. And like in the past, I've been really resentful to like friends that have had to like focus on themselves. Like when I was younger, I won't name drop here out of respect, but like I was a little punk, like, and like, you know, sometimes people need to focus on their own thing, you know, and there are toxic friendships and sometimes that shit'll hold you back from your actual potential. And like if I was still in New Mexico, like giving a shit about what like my friends from like 10 years ago said to me on some specific day, like that would just eat away at me. Like it's so much healthier to just move on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe that's the mentality that they're in. They're moving on too. They just didn't have to relocate to be able to do that. And like maybe that's just how I was. And that's good because I'm glad to be the hell out of there.
No,
But also, I miss the
exact same way,
mountains,
dude.
man. I miss the mountains. I miss being able to look up in the sky and look for those comets that are making hard right hand turns that are totally not comets. And yeah, like mainly mountains. The cold, I don't miss. I am very in tune with the climate here.
Solid flex, Brayden.
I don't go to Universal or anything. I'm not one of those. I'm not like a Disney kid.
What?
Yeah,
No, you're Marvel.
No, I don't. I mean, that would be at Universal. I mean, Marvel would be at Disney too. Now, God, it's a mess. Who owns what? Spider-Man's at Universal, but Spider-Man's owned by Disney, right? Like or Sony. I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know.
don't
That's
care.
your territory. That's
It really is. I love Spider-Man. Tangent.
so.
That's all it was.
Saying that to say, like you've gotten to essentially live life on your own terms.
I wouldn't say that.
So, are you living life on your own terms right now, though?
No.
What are you doing when you wake up? When you wake up in the morning? Okay, no, that's fair. When you wake up in the morning, though, are you excited to wake up and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go work. I'm gonna go do my thing." It's not
On
really.
the yeah, definitely. When I wake up and I know that I've got like something new to go and film, like it's almost hard to sleep. It's like Christmas the night before, because like last year I was working on this thing with like I had mentioned him earlier. Larry Katz was one of my like instructors at Full Sail, and he worked on like Planet of the Apes and Captain America and stuff. And he had gotten me on this shoot here in Orlando that was through HBO. And I'm actually not allowed to say the title because of an NDA until the episode airs. But it was through HBO and it was really special. And like days like that, or like when I know that there's going to be like something new for me to do that I haven't done yet. Like today, later, we have an interview lined up that I'll have to cut together. And like I'm excited for that. Like stuff like that does definitely like give me positive energy to be able to put into that work. So I think that's really important because like when you're putting, I think I already said this, when you're putting positive energy into stuff, then that's what you get out of it. And when you're doing creative things, if you're putting negative energy into creativity, like where it's like, oh, I want to do this just to be the best and be better than this person over here or whatever, that's where you lose me, I guess. You know, like we're doing this because like there's not many podcasts out there that make people want to like get up and be active, something that you can actually listen to at the gym that's gonna like make you think, oh hey, actually when I get home tonight I should cut my carbs or eat this specific food so that like I can see the results, you know, because like a lot of what our channel is about is people being able to get like physical results of their like working out and stuff. And I haven't seen, I mean, there's probably countless fitness podcasts that exist, but specifically towards bodybuilding that are like roping in like, shoot, I've got this huge list of like people that we're about to get on. We actually can cross Larry Wheels off now, but like these are all people with like upwards of like 20,000 followers on like all platforms. Connor Murphy, he was in here last week. He's got like millions of followers on YouTube. And like it's just wild to see that happening because like you don't think of certain audiences as reachable to you because they're like once you find a niche, you know what to do with that niche, if that makes sense. Because like every audience is different. You can't rope in a whole audience of like 18 to 25-year-olds that all are working out at the same time because they're busy or they already have their podcasts. They're already stuck in their routine. And like the biggest thing is like the internet at the end of the day is for kids, or it should be. There's definitely parts of the internet that are not for kids. I don't want to be quoted on that. The internet is not for kids. The internet is for kids with adult supervision. But either way, the internet is something that we're still kind of navigating as like, it's kind of like the next frontier in a way. And it's the ability to like create space that is outside of the human realm, if that makes sense. Because that's really what's happening with computers. And I don't think people really talk about that a lot. I really just like tangented so hard. I went from bodybuilding to that. I'm sorry. I'm like, this is the way my mind works. It spins around and around and around and around. I don't remember what I was saying.
Bodybuilding, creating space, finding that your niche.
Oh yeah, finding a niche. That's the important part, is just like knowing who your audience is and how to relate to them. And like, I'm not the one that has to do that, luckily. I just cut the stuff together, but I'm definitely learning that along the way. And like finding new avenues is really important too. There's so many different like platforms nowadays that you can get your like name like out on, and everybody kind of focuses on like what in school we were calling like the big five, which is TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And those all like, they're good, but there's other ones that are less explored that actually have better algorithms for pushing, like Vimeo, which is what a lot of filmmakers use, like Neil Blomkamp, who directed like District 9 back in 2008 or whenever that movie came out. He has a Vimeo, and he's also got Oats Studios, and his YouTube does really well, but without like, you have to like really cross every T and dot every I, because there's so much, and the internet is so saturated with pretty much the same content everywhere. And like, it's difficult and it's a grind, but like if you can noodle out like 300 story posts a day and like have them locked and loaded to be able to just upload and throw out into the quantum wind, like you'll see a lot more result.
What do you recommend real quick for everybody? Like, and that's probably a good place to kind of hammer out on. We got a couple minutes left, but I love that you brought that up, because content is such a key thing for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
When you said 300 stories a day, how do you recommend somebody hammers out 300 stories a day without hiring a company? Do you know of any like AI software? Like, where's a good place to start with that, do you think?
The best place to start is with your day-to-day. Like, what do you do? How active are you being? Because people want to see you being active, because it helps them think, oh, hey, I need to get out and see the world, essentially. So like, you can turn anything into content these days. Like I could take a picture of this microphone and just be like, studio, like, and I could take a picture of every object in this room, and that's probably like 40 posts. And it would all be geared towards like gear, people that like gear, essentially, or like studio gear. It's really about being active, and knowing to keep your camera out for that. And like a biggest thing with that is like, if you're doing like a Facebook or an Instagram story, you don't want to have your actual phone camera using that. You want to use the Facebook camera or the Instagram camera, because that makes the algorithm happy. Like, if that
really
makes sense.
Oh, shit.
So you don't want to record a video on your phone and then upload it and share it through Instagram?
No, you want to do it. You want to do it as live as possible, like immediate. Like as soon as you do it and you post it, the algorithm will boost that.
Really? Wow.
And that's why
tremendous.
writing is important, because like if you don't sit and come up with something that's like valuable, then you're gonna post some bullshit and you're gonna get 20 views and be like, where's my endorphin release? Like
That's interesting. Dang it. So if you edit like videos through CapCut or anything like that.
I mean, those will do really well. Those will do really well if you're doing like shorts and posting shorts consistently, but it's still a consistency thing. Like I think we're posting like 20 shorts a day, and like that's showing organic growth, but it's really like watering a plant. Like and knowing when to give it sunlight, when to like put fertilizer on the plant. It's I would call it akin to gardening, because like they call it growth, right? And like
you're right.
You want organic growth. You don't want like to buy followers. You don't want to go out and like try and convince you don't want to like reach out of your niche, you know? And when you're posting about stuff that you care about, that you know that other people care about, you just need to find that audience. And like it's all about knowing your audience too. And knowing what they want to see from you. Because like for us, like it's all about like bodybuilding and working out. So there's like posing videos and stuff for like when they do figure competitions. There's the podcast where they talk about supplements and different like methods and routes they've taken to do well in these competitions and stuff. And like it's kind of being able to share that insight, and then also being able to like give people a glimpse into like your frame of mind in a way. And like that's where people connect with it, and that's where you're going to find your followers and stuff, is being able to really know your audience. And like that's the way it's been for hundreds of years too. Is like back in the caveman times, like everybody was freaked out about mountain lions and stuff. So the guy painting the pictures on the walls was like, it's going to get butts in this cave seats is if I paint a mountain lion right here and tell them a story about that. Like, and it was insightful, people weren't getting eaten. Like,
interesting. Wow,
we ended up being able to build structures and stuff because of creativity and art and like that form of communication.
I love that, dude. Gosh, somebody put some mic drop emojis into the chat. Holy torpedo, Batman! Yeah, that's great, man.
Mic too.
Well, awesome. Well, Braden, thanks
Dude,
for being on, bro.
This
was awesome. This is great to connect with you.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Carlin, do you got any final thoughts or words before we drop off?
Yeah,
No.
Sorry for being late again.
Today
was interesting.
I'm just happy you're here, brother.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here too. Like, it's amazing. I've got so much podcast stuff going on today. It's kind of incredible. Like, I'm really happy to be on this. Like, I'm kind of bummed I didn't like set up like over here, because my original plan was to like do the whole podcast like on empty like this and stuff. But man, when the audio is so crazy after I took those headphones off, because I could hear my voice like in that. But oh man, that's trippy. That is trippy. But yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Good, man. Yeah, of course.
Oh,
we'll have to have you on again, man.
Sweet, sounds great.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Have a happy Veterans Day. Appreciate you.
You as well.